The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton. Chapter 24. Mr. Boom Boom. They came to a little garage. A very furry rabbit was busy putting petrol into a car driven by another toy rabbit. They looked at Saucepan in surprise as he came along with the others. "Hello," said the garage rabbit. "What's the idea of wearing a saucepan for a hat? I can't see I've ever seen a rabbit wearing a hat before." "Ah, well, you've seen one now," said the saucepan, not very politely. "Oh, bother these awful floppy ears. I hate them. They make me look like a toy rabbit." Well, you are a toy rabbit, floppy ears and all," said the rabbit, staring. "Ah, no, that's where you're wrong," said Saucepan. "I am not. I hate being one. Ugly creatures with stupid long ears and quivering whiskers." "Stop it, Saucepan," said Joe in a warning voice. He turned to the surprised rabbit. You must excuse him. He's not really a rabbit, actually. He's a saucepan, as you can see, and I'm not really a clockwork clown. I'm a boy. Oh, excuse me, I can feel another somersault coming on." He turned head over heels and then stood up very straight again. "Oh, I see," said the rabbit. "Well, I should just hate to be an ugly little saucepan man, so I know what he feels about being a rabbit. Though rabbits are very handsome creatures like myself, he should be pleased to turn into one." "Well, it's just that we really like being ourselves best," said Franny. "I'm a little girl, not a doll, and this teddy bear is really Moonface." "Oh, never heard of him," said Rabbit. "Didn't know there were such things as moon faces." Franny giggled. Silky went up to the rabbit and smiled at him. "Oh, do please help us," she said. The rabbit stared at her. He thought she was the prettiest doll he had ever seen in the village of toys. The rabbit who was inside the car leaned out. "Of course we'll help you," he said. "What do you want us to do?" "Well, we did hope all this would wear off," said Silky in a high doll's voice that was actually quite sweet. "But it hasn't, and we wondered if you knew how we could get back into ourselves again." The two rabbits looked at one another. Difficult," said one. "Very," said the other. "Oh, I know. What about that old spellmaker, Mr. Boom," said the first one. "If he's in a good mood, he might do something for them." Yeah, if he's in a bad mood, though, he might turn them into something much worse," said the second rabbit. "Oh, no, then we won't go there," said Joe hurriedly and turned another somersault. "Well, we could see if he's in a good mood or a bad mood before we say anything," said the rabbit. "I'll take you there in my car if you can all squeeze in." "Oh, well, we could try," said Moonface with his growly voice, his little round teddy bear face looking very worried. The rabbit told Silky to sit next to him. He thought she was really beautiful and actually very sweet. "I'm sure if you went to ask Mr. Boom a favour, he would say yes at once," he said. "I never saw anyone as pretty as you." "Oh, well, you're a very handsome rabbit," said Silky, and that pleased him very much. They all squeezed into the car somehow, waved to the friendly garage rabbit and set off. "Oh, no, I can feel a somersault coming on," said Joe suddenly. "I'm so sorry, but will you please stop the car so that I can get out and turn head over heels?" "Oh, you're going to be a bit of a nuisance," said the rabbit driver. "Can't you do about a dozen and make those do for a while?" "Oh, I'll try," said poor Joe. So he got out and did 9, but no more would come, so he got back into the car. "Oh, I do wish you didn't wear those pots and pans, and you wear so many of them, and the kettles. Oh, Saucepan," he said, looking over at Saucepan Man. "Move that kettle, will you? It's sticking its spout into me." "Kettles don't have snouts," said the saucepan. "Spout, I said, not snout," said Joe crossly. "Now there's something else sticking into me. Oh, it's a saucepan handle." "I haven't got any candles." The saucepan, mishearing again. "You know I haven't. You're just making a fuss with all your chatter about snouts and candles." "I said shouts and pandles," bawled Joe, losing his temper. "No, I didn't mean that. I mean... Pouts and scandals? Franny let out a squeal of laughter when she heard it. Pouts and scandals! Oh, be quiet, you two. Saucepan, dear, be sensible. He said spouts and handles. Look, they're sticking into him. Well, why didn't he say so then? Grumbled Saucepan, moving the kettle and the saucepan, then sticking them into Moonface and said, Goodness, Moonface, what are you growling about now? Moonface turned his teddy bear face to Saucepan. You're not kind, he said. But I don't mind, said Saucepan, whose hearing had gone quite wrong with the noise of the car and the jangling of his pans. Of course I don't mind. Why should I mind? Mind what, anyhow? Oh, stop talking, said the rabbit at the wheel. I keep listening and it all sounds so mad that I'm sure I shall drive into a tree or something. Anyway, I want to talk to this dear doll here, Silky. Nobody talked after that except Silky and the toy rabbit. The car went on and on. And at last Joe wanted to get out and go head over heels again. Can you stop? He called. Oh, goodness, I've gone straight past Mr. Oom Boom Boom, said the rabbit, putting on the brakes so suddenly that the saucepan that had been on Saucepan's head flew off and rolled away down the road. Yes, look, get out and somersault for a bit while I turn the car round. So Joe turned about 10 somersaults while the toy rabbit turned the car around again. Then back they went to find Mr. Oom Boom Boom. Oh, don't start talking to Silky or you'll go past it again, begged Franny. But this time the rabbit kept an eye open for Mr. Oom Boom Boom's house, and suddenly he put on the brakes again. Oh, there goes another one of my saucepans, groaned Saucepan. Do we have to stop so suddenly? Nobody took any notice of him. They stared at a funny little door set in a grassy hill. On it was printed in bold black letters, Oom Boom Boom, knock 7 times. Oh, Silky, you go. Perhaps Oom Boom Boom will be nice to you. You do look really very sweet. Oh, all right. I'll knock, said Silky, though she did feel actually rather scared. She got out of the car and went up to the little door. She took hold of the knocker and knocked 7 times. A loud voice came from inside. Stop knocking! Once is quite enough. Oh dear, he's in a bad mood, called the rabbit. Come back quickly, Silky, and we'll drive off. I can't come, wailed Silky. The knocker has got hold of my hand. It won't let go. Joe jumped out at once and went to help her. But Silky was quite right. The knocker had tight hold of her hand and wouldn't let it go. Moonface went to help too, and then the saucepan man looking very worried, and just at that very moment the door opened, pulling poor Silky with it, and a voice boomed out loudly, What's all this? Disturbing me in the middle of my spells? Everyone thought that Oom Boom Boom was a very good name for him, booming at them like that. But he wasn't a bit like his voice. No. In fact, he was an old pixie, with a beard so long that it trailed behind him. He had big pointed ears and wore a funny little round hat with feelers on it like a butterfly's. His eyes were as green as grass and very bright indeed. He frowned at them all. And then he saw Silky, still held by the knocker. Ah, he said, and a smile broke over his face like the sun shone out suddenly. Ah, what a dear little doll. No wonder my knocker wouldn't let you go. Where did you come from? I've never seen a doll as pretty as you. Do you know where you ought to be? No, said Silky with a gasp. You ought to be standing at the top of a very great
big Christmas tree with let me see. Santa Claus has it in his castle, said Boom Boom with his booming voice slightly more gentle for her. He's always looking for the prettiest doll in the world to put there, but he's never found one as pretty as you yet.
No, I'm not a doll, said Silky. I'm a fairy. I've just been turned into a doll today.
Let her go, Knocker, said the pixie. Come in, all of you. Why have you paid me this visit?
Oh, he seems in a very good mood now, whispered Joe to Moonface. I think it's safe to go in. They all went in, and the door shut with a big, heavy thud behind them that made them jump. Inside, there was a narrow, very winding passage that led into the hill. They followed the pixie down it, everybody stumbling over his very long beard that trailed out behind him. He didn't seem to mind at all. He took them into a big room with a very low ceiling. A great fire burned in the middle, but the flames were green, not red, and no heat came from them.
I was just making a few spells, said Boom Boom, his big voice echoing around the room. I'm a spell maker, you know.
Yes, that's why we came, said Silky, feeling very nervous. Please, dear Mr. Boom Boom, will you use a spell to help us? We want to go back to our right selves. I'm a fairy, really, as I told you. And we're really little girls, said Beth and Franny. And this clown is a boy, and the toy rabbit is Old Saucepan Man.
And I'm Moonface,
said Moonface, with his little teddy bear face looking very earnest.
Please do help us.
Ha! said Boom Boom, looking around at them and beaming. Well, I don't mind doing that. That's easy. But I'll do it on one condition.
What's that? asked Joe, his heart sinking.
I'll turn 5 of you back to your own shapes. But I want this little doll here, the very pretty one, to stay with me so that I can sell her to Santa Claus to put on top of his Christmas tree. It will be such an honor for her. You'd love that, wouldn't you, my dear? He turned to Silky. Silky looked very frightened.
Well, I'll stay and let you sell me to Santa Claus, she said, if you will use a spell on the others.
Oh, dear, darling Silky, said Moonface, putting his furry arm around her. How sweet you are, but we wouldn't let you. We'd never leave you alone. No, not here. We never would.
Never, said Joe. Never. Never, said Joe, Beth and Franny then all together. Well, no, I'm going to stay, said Silky, looking and sounding a bit as if she was going to cry, but smiling at them all the same. It won't be so bad, going to Santa Claus, though it sounds very dull standing on top of his Christmas tree. But it's for you, you see, so I want to do it.
Oh, of course she wants to do it, said Boom Boom. She's a sensible little doll.
Be quiet, said Joe. I tell you, we won't let her do it. We'd rather be toys all our lives than do that. And then, at that moment, Mr. Boom Boom lost his temper. He rushed at Joe, but Joe did a very clever thing. He caught him by his very long beard, dragged him to a big table, and tied him to it with his beard, making dozens of knots. Now, quick, let's go, he cried. Sorry about tying you up, Boom Boom, but you're not going to have Silky. Run, everyone! They ran up the winding passage and came out on the hillside. And oh, thank goodness, there was a rabbit waiting in his car. Oh, what a wonderful sight. And that is the end of chapter 24. So, they seem to have escaped from Mr. Boom Boom. Well, they seem to have because they can see the rabbit in the car. But do you think they really are safe? Or do you think Mr. Oom Boom Boom will be able to get them? But if they are safe and they get into the car, do you think that means that they're going to be staying as toys forever and ever? Oh dear, and how do you think they're going to feel about that? We'll find out what happens in the next chapter. Bye-bye.